Yeah, that's nice.
What's up, guys? It's REV J again. Now, one of the biggest things that a lot of people that make YouTube videos and home videos and small videographers in general have an issue with is lighting. Now, most of us that have a small back room like this or an office or whatever don't really have the ability to control every little bit of lighting. We're not going to block out all our windows, we're not going to create windows, we're not going to install tons of huge lighting rigs, we're not going to necessarily even be supported to power all that. So, what do? Well, with the advent of all this fairly cheap LED lighting that's available, we can kind of work around some of this. And actually, over the holidays, I got two pieces of small LED lighting gear that I think make a pretty big difference, and I think they add a lot to the video quality. As a matter of fact, right now, one of them is currently lighting me. So, if you've watched a lot of my videos in the past, most of the videos, at least all of them that were shot inside here, were done under a combination of natural light from outside, if it was daytime, and the ambient lighting of the room, a couple of fluorescent bulbs in a fixture up top. Okay, so that's not a bad thing necessarily, but the problem is there's very little control. You only get so much light. For example, if I want to film a follow-up to something at night, I lose out on all the ambient light from outside that I had, and all I have is the light in the room. So using supplemental lighting is a great way to try to control the lighting variables. When you add lighting, not only can you add just the intensity of the light to change the actual brightness and darkness of the video, but you can also change some color in the light and give it more yellow or more of a blue to help balance out whatever the ambient lighting is, whatever the natural lighting is, or whatever the other light sources you're using are. So, with that being said, let's take a look at a couple of things I got. Now, for comparison's sake, I did a light test with just the overhead two fluorescent bulbs. So, okay, you can see it's yellowish, it works fine, but it's not the brightest. And for small detail work, the camera has to work a lot harder, and sometimes it gets grainy, especially with these GoPros, because they're limited to the amount of they're limited in the way the exposure can change. In other words, you need to add more lighting or eventually your video is just going to look shitty. Even if it's shot at 1080 30, 1080 60, whatever, it's not going to look like it. So this is a 72 LED little portable light. Now, they can be hooked together if you get more than one of them. It does have the quarter 20 plug on the bottom, and it can use the little snap-in rails. I forget what you call that, the square rail. It's got a plastic case all the way around. It feels okay, but like anything, it feels kind of cheap. Although I really wouldn't necessarily expect a metal case on something like this. The controls in the back, if you can see them here, I don't know, it might be a little tough. You have the dimmer, and you have the on-off. And it does have a DC plug on the back, so you don't have to run it off of batteries. Now, it does run off of batteries, and it uses a pretty simple cell phone style battery in the back, and it comes with a charger. Now, what's cool about this is it was fairly inexpensive, and it works very well. If you mount it on a small, like a handheld rig, like one of the ones I show in my earlier videos, the GoPro rigs for under 20, 25 bucks, whatever. This works really well. You can put it on the small rig, give yourself a little bit of extra fill lighting. It's not perfect, and it's not insanely bright, but you can change the intensity on it. You can't change the color. And it works, like I said, it works fairly well. It does hotspot a little bit, though, and you'll notice that with a smaller light that's fairly intense, in the comparison, that it does hotspot a little bit on the test surface. So, with that being said, the next thing is to go a little bit bigger. Now, a lot of people do step all the way up to the massive fill lights, and if you're in a studio, if you're doing it professionally, I totally get it. The problem with those, aside from their bulk, and sometimes they put out too much light for a small space like this, you have to diffuse them way down, is that they're not really economical to run. You know, the size, getting them around, but then it's also the fact that you've got to plug in these fairly intensive current draws. They're going to use a lot of electricity. You leave them running for a day, you're going to generate a lot of heat, and it's probably going to be not too happy on your power bill. So what do? Well, we stick with LED lighting, and you go to something mid-size. Now, because we don't have a huge studio, I can get away with a mid-size panel, and so that's what we did. We got a panel from FotoDiox. Now, this is one of the companies that when you go on Amazon or you go on eBay or whatever, and you look at, best cheap LED rigs or best budget lighting for GoPro or whatever the search terms you want to use, this is one of the things that's going to come up. And there are probably 8 to 12 companies releasing products that are similar. Some have snap-on diffusers, some have magnetic diffusers, some only have one battery, some have two batteries, whatever. But the idea is kind of the same for these small LED panels. And I'm going to pull this one out, and you'll notice right away, because I'm removing my light source, the color of the video is going to change a little bit. And so I'll show you guys what I mean by that. Ooh, my eyes need to adjust there. So this is the one from FotoDiox. So, and right away you can tell things got significantly darker here. Now we're back to just under the fluorescent bulbs up top. And for comparison's sake, you can tell right away when I did that how big of a difference that makes to the video. So here is the FotoDiox unit, and right now we do have the replaceable diffuser kind of thing, gel on the front, and that is magnetic and pops right off. And you can see the face of the actual LED structure itself. Again, it is a plastic case, and I wouldn't have minded something a little bit sturdier, but it seems well built. Doesn't look like it's going to fall apart. I wouldn't drop it, though. I would be concerned about that. The actual face of the LED unit itself looks pretty good. Some of the cheap ones, the LEDs don't look like they're either mounted correctly, or some of them are at an angle, or some of them don't look like they work. This one, quality-wise, seems to be pretty good. All the LEDs are very even into the board. The spacing's even. They all put out, the same amount of light. There's no dull spots or anything like that. So if we flip over the back here, you guys can kind of see the controls on the back. And I'll see if we can get in there a little bit closer. And here you've got the off to on. It is a dimmer. It goes all the way from off to full intensity. And on the other side, you have the color control from 3200 to 5600 Kelvin. So from kind of bluish, or kind of orangish to kind of bluish, yellowish to bluish. It does use two very standard style camera batteries. If you guys already have a bunch of older, like a Sony Handycam and that kind of stuff, I believe this is the standard style battery for that. Chargers for these things are everywhere. You can buy most generic video accessories that work with these style batteries will use these exactly the same. And beyond just this, you do get the little rotatable, I guess you'd call it sort of gimbal on the bottom, or a ball and stud mount on the bottom. If you undo that, it is the standard quarter 20, so it does hook to any of your existing stands and camera equipment. The back does also have a DC input, so if you want to plug it in, that's fine too. And it comes with a whole additional kit, carrying case of miscellaneous stuff. This includes the gel, the clear gel that I showed you guys before. It includes a double charger. We've got adapter, car adapter, and regular adapter. And then, of course, the case itself. The best part about this is that all of this stuff together, I'm going to get some lighting back on here real quick, is that all of this stuff together doesn't really cost that much. A lot of times, good professional lighting can cost hundreds. And altogether, between both light setups that I have, there is probably less than about $250 invested. And so for $250, I don't know that there's a bigger difference you can make in trying to improve your video quality. Now, I personally am really excited to see what I can do with these once I get out into the garage and start to get a little further into some different locations that I had lighting issues with last time. But so far here, just in the back studio, for lack of a better word, back office here, I'm extremely happy with these. Hopefully you guys can check these units out. I'll put links to where I got them in the description. And for any of you guys making the videos at home, making your own rigs, going out and try to film something, simple investment can make a huge difference in video quality. If you guys check out my other videos, check out my LeBron 11 Terracotta Warrior video from pretty recently. That was the first one in which I was able to use some of this additional lighting, and the detail it lets you get in close, I think is really good. It also works really well with the GoPro and its limited ability to kind of adjust to changing light scenarios. It likes a lot of light, and you can give it a huge leg up by picking up something like one of these FotoDiox units. So hopefully this helps you guys out with a little bit of basic lighting, and hope you guys enjoyed the comparisons to see exactly what you're getting into with some of these. check back. I have more shoe videos. I got more car videos coming up. I got lots more stuff on REV J. As always, thank you guys for watching.